All right, folks, welcome back to Street City Studio. If you've been here before, if you haven't, welcome. Uh, Today, I have a very exciting figure to get into. I have the Hiya Toys G.I. Joe. Oh, what's it called? Hiya Toys Exquisite Minis G.I. Joe Firefly here. I feel like he's not all on camera there, but you get the idea. And now I have a few Hiya figures. I have a couple. Well, a couple. I don't want to say a few. What do I have here? I have this very, very nice RoboCop with just a slight pink to his armor, like its reflections. It looks really good. I'm a big fan of this figure. Now, I'm not currently sure where his extra hands have gone, and that's one of my critiques maybe about these figures, is that they come with a lot of extra little hands and they get lost real easy. They could easily put something on the bottom of this figure stand or something that could hold them. I don't know. They're around here somewhere, though. I do have them. And also, I have the one lonely Judge Dredd figure. And like I said, these guys are so nice. But just like RoboCop, I'm not real sure where his extra hands are. I kind of gave him the bat holding hand and the gun holding hand, and the others got lost in the mix somewhere. But these figures are amazing. They just look so good, and the articulation is on point. And I don't want to spend maybe too much time on these other figures. I was pretty excited to get back into some G.I. Joes because I have kind of gotten away from G.I. Joes lately. I'm guessing maybe 2 years ago now I had sold off most of my Joes, and I kept some of my favorites, and Firefly is definitely one of my favorites, right? And so I kept this version of him. He's got monkey wrenches, grenades on him right now, and he's got the wrong goggles because I can't tell you, I haven't seen those green goggles that he came with probably 6 years or more, 7 years. So they're long gone. But the red ones work. He usually tends to wear the red anyways, right? I don't mind the red, but I really did like the green ones. Those green ones are really nice. But Firefly, the point is, Firefly is definitely on the top of my list as far as Joe villains, right? For me personally, I put him higher than Storm Shadow. I put him higher than Zartan, right? Maybe just under Destro, right? Maybe him and Destro are tied for some of my favorite, right? And then maybe below them, you get Zartan and Baroness, right? And actually, Mindbender's pretty high on that list. I always thought he was neat. But I do have also this Fortnite character, and I think it's Frostbite or something. I can't remember his name right now. I don't play Fortnite, but he's basically Fortnite's version of Firefly here, right? He's got those shells on his chest. That looks pretty sweet. He's got the urban camo and the ski mask. Right. The only thing that really separates him from your standard Firefly is the winterization with that fur collar, right? He's got that fur collar, making him really best suited for cold, pictures, right? Any kind of snow pictures that I might want to do with a Firefly. But outside of that, it looks kind of strange that he'd be so bundled up in the hot desert or sun or beach, right? Out in the jungle wearing all that fur collar, maybe, right? But this new one isn't exactly innocent of that either. He's definitely geared to the max. It's not exactly cold weather gear. Here, let me get them. They're kind of in the way here. There we go. I don't know how well you can see it exactly, but he's bulky. He's got that big bomb vest on. He's got that big heavy backpack. So he definitely isn't a jungle ready. He isn't exactly hot weather gear, but he might be taking the place of my standard Firefly here. This might be my new go-to for a Firefly, so I think I'm gonna pause it real quick and just crack him open, and we'll all get to take a look at him here, right? Alright, let's get into it. Look at this. That is definitely highly detailed and very good looking. I don't know if some of you might follow, some of you might not, but there was a lot of images floating around of Beachhead from this line. He had really wonky eyes. He had kind of funny looking eyes, and I was worried, right? All the paint apps on this look really sharp, really spot on, right? Even that logo. Let's see if we can get a good look at that logo there. That's probably as good as my camera will give us. But it's really clean. It's really sharp. Now, I am aware, yeah, he's not ready to stand yet. I'll have to mess with his feet here. Get everything loosened up a bit. But I'm aware his goggles are probably glued on this side here, is my understanding. So I want to be real careful with that, because I do plan on breaking that glue. I won't be too happy not to be able to put those goggles down on his eyes. That's a need. All right, I have to be able to put those goggles down, but I want to be really careful when I do it, so I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to get tugging on them and break them. I want to put some heat to them and make sure I get something flat and sharp up under there, maybe a little screwdriver or a thin knife. Right? But that is the plan. I am gonna break those loose and get some pictures eventually with the goggles down over his eyes. I just don't want to break them loose right now. Right? But we'll get to looking at some of his gear. His base is nice. I definitely don't dislike these bases, these figure stands. I like that they clip together and can even, right, clip together with these other ones from any of the lines that they make, really, I think. I'm not going to mess with it too much. He's going to fall off of there. But, they're all kind of stylized, kind of different. This one looks like some mud with some spent shells on the ground there, right? So the idea is that Firefly's been standing here on it, letting a few rounds loose, right? Just like, alright, Robo. Oh, get him off there. Anyways, he's falling off. Alrighty. Alright, RoboCop's got some busted up concrete. Looks like maybe a subway or a mall or some sort of tile floor, right? Busted up tile. And then for Dread, you got, this is probably my favorite one actually. It's got like some dried up desert floor with some bones. Some Mad Max, Judge Dredd Desert Wastelands, right? I like that one. But back to our Firefly and his very awesome gear. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of his gun here. It actually reminds me a lot of Judge Dredd's gun, right? Especially that funny little knob on the back of it. Right, it reminds me of the back of Judge Dredd's gun here, how it's got that knob. Kind of see it. There it goes. And even some of the Star Wars blasters, I think, are real similar. Probably too. And I get it. Kinda. Right? That's a thing. That's a style of fantasy weapon. But, I don't know. When I look at this, I don't think Demolitions. I think Buck Rogers. The 21st century, right? It's a little too far in the future, maybe. But the rest of his gear I do like. And his gear is one of the reasons I got him. I don't want to sound like I'm harping too bad on it. Here's his Demolitions backpack. Right, there's his focus. Come on, guy. Let me get my hand behind it, maybe. Okay, there it is. And you can see he's got little pliers and snips and wrenches. Kind of like the original figure, right? How his backpack had all the molded tools on it and stuff. But it also comes with, right, that little cartoon villain stack of TNT, right? How many is it? Like 6, 7, 7 sticks of dynamite strapped together, and they go on the bottom pegs there, right? You just gotta find the holes here, stick them on the peg. Let's see. I always like to be extra careful. I don't want to bend my pegs or anything. I know I watched a few videos of people trying to get this thing on there, and it seemed like some of them bent the pegs while they were getting them on there, so you gotta be extra careful, because you start bending them, they won't last very long, that's for sure. There we go. That feels good though. So there's that. And I like that. That's cool. But what I really liked was the drone, right? The way the drone goes on his backpack, even without the backpack, I guess, too. His legs move independently. I don't believe the wings move. They're kind of a softer plastic, so you can flex them a bit, but that's just so it doesn't break, I think. That's not really a play feature exactly, right? And so you can see on the top of the backpack, there's a little slots for his feet to mount, right? And that's kind of cool. Let's go like that, like he's taken off, or fold him down like he's put away. And I suppose if you're taking pictures from the back like that, you might want to flip them around, right? Try and get the painted details, because the underside of his wings aren't painted. They don't quite look as nice, right? Like the top looks real nice, and then the bottom not as nice. I guess it doesn't look bad. It does look alright. I'm talking without looking. It looks nice enough, but you do get a little more detail with the fans. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to the vents. That's alright. Put that back on the other way, and then put the backpack on him. Oh, I'm almost forgetting the rest of it, right? Before I forget, there is the controller for the drone. And it's nothing very fancy. It has some kind of nondescript details, right? Some sort of viewport on this side, and then just kind of some lines. Maybe I don't know, maybe that's where you charge it, or maybe plug it in. It's a wire or a headset. It's hard to say. The details are so tiny and my eyes aren't what they used to be, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it on here, but I recently got my first pair of bifocals. The old peepers are going quick. But the new glasses definitely make a huge difference. I can see so much better. But that remote control has a little spot in his backpack here, and you even got a little dip for your fingernail, so you can get it out once it's in, I suppose, right? That'll go in something like that, right? And then that goes on his back. And just like most G.I. Joes, he's got a little backpack peg hole. I don't think that's very new to many of us, right? Ooh, I'm gonna knock my background down with my elbow. And that looks pretty sweet. That's what convinced me to buy the figure, is that right there, that look. Like I said, maybe you get them goggles down. But I could stick this gun in his hand too. We'll take a quick look at his other hands. I don't think his backpack's all the way in. That hole's not quite lined up on his back, so it's hitting a hard spot. Yeah. And his remote control just fell out, but that's okay. I'm not gonna mess with that too much right now. I just want to get this gun in his hand. How soft are these hands? Kind of seems like the gun doesn't want to go in. I don't want to stretch it too far. There we go. That's not bad. Alright. So I'll get that arm rocked forward a little. This backpack's not going to be fun posing him with the backpack on, right? So I'll get him kind of pointing down range a bit. Get him holding that under grip, the under barrel grip there a little bit, maybe. And as I'm playing with him just to get him kind of set up here for this, I'm noticing his arms really do have a huge range, right? Even just his wrists have a huge range, his elbows have a huge range, and his shoulders, and I'm late to the game, so most people probably already know this if you're looking at these figures. He does have the butterfly shoulders. So those really give him some extra range in being able to hold them guns. Now, he does have 2 extra hands that I haven't put on him here. He's got kind of this open hand here. Let's see, there we go. It's kind of an open hand, probably for holding this little controller, is my guess, right? That's the controller handle, or the controller hand. Get that little controller in there, see, like that. Something like that. And he's got a slightly more closed hand for punches or holding something that doesn't have a trigger, like a knife or something, right? Maybe this this drone. There we go. All right, you can take the drone and maybe put one leg up, stick the other leg in his hand there, right? Something like that. That'll be cool. I really, I can't wait to get some pictures of this guy. And he makes me really start to appreciate that I need explosion effects for my backgrounds. I don't have any or enough. I probably have a couple little things, fire pieces and stuff, but nothing like I need just some big explosions and lots of them for him. Maybe one big one and like 5 little ones all around it. Maybe that'd be so cool for him, right? Just set him up in front of anything. Set him up in front of these building pieces, or even just out in the grass with a vehicle, right? That'd be really cool. But I'm probably gonna wrap it up around here. I'm not sure that I got too much more to say other than I can't wait to get those goggles off. I can't wait to get some pictures, some action shots with this guy, because he really is. I'm tempted to say it. I don't want to say it maybe, but I'm tempted to say it. He's like the ultimate Firefly figure right now. I don't know that in scale there's a better one, right? I think depending on some of your preferences, right, the best we've got is some of these, right? One of these. I'm trying to think. There's newer than this, but some of the designs were just really basic and barely looked any better than what Fortnite put out for $8, you know? So as far as bang for your buck and adult collector oriented, I think, man, that's where it's at. But it's not, see, just like that gun, if some of this armor was too over the top, I wouldn't like it. If it was too futuristic, I wouldn't like it, right? But that drone, that's the kind of stuff they should have, right? But like, I'm trying to remember, I got a couple of these older backpacks from like that Pursuit of Cobra Firefly, right? I didn't like that Firefly at all, right? I like the backpack, but he didn't even look like Firefly unless you stripped all his gear off. Maybe he looked more like a Wraith, right? But it probably was Wraith, but they figured nobody knew Wraith by name well enough to sell figures, maybe. But either way, where I sit currently, right, that was my go-to Firefly. That's my best Firefly. I got the... Oh. No, he doesn't want us. There we go. I got the Fortnite Firefly. And I had just a standard black and gray, or dark gray and light gray camo Firefly. He was a lot closer to basically the comics and cartoons look. I'll be darned if I don't know where he went. He might have been one of the ones I sold in that batch, or I might have just misplaced him. He's not with my other Joes. I can tell you that. So next time I do... Oh, stuff falling down. Next time I do sorting, I'll definitely keep an eye out. Try and pull him back in if I see him. Pull him back in with my other Fireflies and my other Joes. I definitely have a lot of accessories and gear not sorted down into the proper franchises. Right? You get a lot of Star Wars and Jurassic Park and G.I. Joe gear all in the same bags and bins. But I do plan on going through it all eventually and sorting it all. It's just a matter of time and space. But I know at least out of these, and even if I do have that other one, this one's still going to top it as far as modern articulation and modern details in the sculpt. Right? Even just those goggles. Look at the difference between the goggles. You know. But again, I mean, you're talking 20 years. This toy's at least 20 years old, isn't it? 15 or something like that. I didn't look it up, but I probably should have. I should have another video coming real soon for those of you that are interested. And for those of you that stuck around this long, I might as well give you a little bonus peek, right? I got another figure that will be getting his own video here where I can open him. Either today or tomorrow I'll make the video, but I'll space them out and I won't post them on the same day. I won't get no hits that way. I won't get no views, and people seem to think, you know, it's like spamming. I'm not trying to spam nobody, but I am excited to get them open, and I'm waiting to make the video before I get them open. So I gotta get that video made. Get it done and out the way. But just like him, I'm pretty excited to get some pictures. And my man Dengar there, he's one I've been wanting for a long time. I'm happy to have him next to my Boba Fett on the shelf. Out of the bounty hunters, out of them Star Wars bounty hunters, I know everybody kind of has their preferences. And for me, Boba Fett, Bosk, and Dengar are the top three. I don't really care much for Forlom, Zuckuss, or IG-88 for that matter. Especially because I've got, two IG-11s, IG-12, IG-11 is a mech suit for Grogu. I got enough of that droid. I don't really need many more, I think. But I appreciate you guys sticking around this far, checking out my new Firefly from Hiya Toys. And these things are hard to get. They're coming from overseas. Their pre-order is like a year long, it seems like, I think. And so I'm not a big fan of pre-ordering. Would not pre-order the Hiya figures. So I was happy to see one at my local toy shop. Big shout out to them. That's Nerd Out Toys, Michigan, Ferndale, Michigan. But otherwise, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys coming by, and hope to see you real soon for that Dengar video. Hope you all have a good one. Keep playing with them toys. I'll talk to you again real soon.